Hey, agency owners. So today we're going to go over 5 tips to quoting custom website projects. So I've been working on projects for almost 12 years now, and throughout my almost 12 years working, especially near the beginning, it felt like every single project was a custom project. But as I got more experience working on different types of projects, I realized there's definitely 2 major groups. There's a group of just a standard site. You can think of them as like a more of marketing, like a brochure, a billboard type site where you got your homepage, service pages, your about us, your contact us, privacy policy, pieces, like that. Is pretty standardized, nothing too complex. Sure, the designs could be, and certain small components of the pages could be custom. But when we talk about custom, when I think of custom, I think about complicated functionality, maybe connections to third-party systems, which maybe they're called API calls to that system. So we're sending data from one system to another system. We're building some sort of customer portal behind the scenes that interacts with users, maybe the business or other users. We have a large amount of e-commerce products, but with a mixture of not just products but also services that require booking appointments to those things. Or maybe it's the e-commerce piece where it's a calculator that they're ordering a product that requires a lot of like different options, and then based on that it will spit out a custom pricing. So that's what I mean when I think of custom website projects. For most part, uh, sites are fall under the standard. Now, the first tip would be the who, what, why, right? And this really applies to all projects, but especially with custom. You don't want to just go start working on a custom project without knowing the who, what, why, and it's related and it's relevant to all the other tips that I'm going to give you. This is essentially the starting point. Who is this for? Who's the target audience? What is the traffic going into it? Because certain functionality pieces, the way that's built, it may not be a good fit for this type of technology. You might need to change. You might need to use a different technology. And then, what are the technical requirements? Does the organization already have certain technologies in place that's required to be used? And then, why do they need or want a custom website? Because sometimes in reality they think it's cool, but cool's not good enough. Does it meet their goals of the organization, either building up their brand, driving revenue, launching a new initiative, whatever that is? Does it achieve that goal, right? Not because it's cool. And then, is there any, why not use a pre existing solution? Is there a solution that already exists? No need to reinvent the wheel. So, those are just some of the who, what, why pieces. Now, with that out of the way, with that understanding, now we go into the current and future tech stack. So, what the heck is a tech stack? A tech stack is a set of technologies used to develop an application. So, we got for example, WordPress. We have WordPress, and then the theme or the framework that's being used, and the different plugins that's required for it, and then any custom coding on top of that. And I'm not even talking about where the site is hosted yet, and the technologies behind that. And that's just one small bit of the tech stack, and we can go pretty deep into it. Now, with that, also, is it compatible with what you have to offer? I know a lot of agencies say they do everything, but the problem is there's a lot of different tech out there. And if they don't have experience or they're not familiar with certain components, um, it's not it's not going to work out well. And if you're an agency that, even though you might have some experience, but if let's say 80% of this project, this custom project is unknown, I wouldn't tackle it on solo. So really you have two options. Find a partner and work with them on that and learn from that experience. And maybe eventually you'll be able to do that all by yourself. Or B, just refer out, decline it, and say, hey, we know someone else that can specialize in that and that can help you with that piece of tech. And another piece is it up to date? Like I've seen technologies where we look at and they need our help upgrading their site with new features, and they're always just thinking about the new features, but they don't think about, well, in order for the new features to work, you have to upgrade your current tech stack, your current technologies. But if you don't do that, then you can't have the new features. So just keep that in mind. And then what do you recommend, right? What is the recommended tech stack based on what is in existence, what you and your team is comfortable with, and and most importantly, going back to who, what, why, right? Who, like based off of that, then provide the best recommendation, right? These technologies, this tech stack, they're just tools to solve a problem, right? For that organization. Third tip: break it all down. Break it all down. So step one, break down what is part of the standard site and what is custom. Right. So remember we talked about earlier, what's the standard site, right? You got your basic billboard or brochure type pages, and then you apply the basic parts using our website calculator tool. And if you missed that video, it's up top. I'm gonna put a card up top there. So go ahead and check it out. And also I'll have it in the description down below. And then with the custom pieces, I want you to break it down even further if possible. So I'll give you an example. With the e-commerce site, let's say they're selling products, but then they're also they need a customer portal, and they need within the customer portal they want to be able to interact with business and other users. It's almost like a marketplace they're offering, and then on top of that, they want to send the data to a third-party system, like through API calls, maybe their marketing system. So so I'll just stop there, right there. So that's three big functionality pieces. But one of them, the bigger one, might be the internal portal, the dashboard for the customers. Take that and break it down even further into smaller functionality pieces. And once you have all that, now you're ready for the fourth tip, is to start asking the experts. Take that list of functionality and share the first few tips, right? Who, what, why, current and the future tech, and break it all down with all your list of functionality. Then let's start talking to the experts. When I mean experts, I mean talk to the designer. What do you think about all this? Does this make sense from a branding standpoint, from how from a user experience and user interface standpoint? Talk to, of course, the developers, like these functionality pieces, their current tech and the new tech. Does this all make sense? Is this the best approach? And is this the right project for us as an agency with our type of experience and skill set? And then, of course, don't forget, you got to QA. You got to, especially in the custom projects, you want to make sure your DevOps team knows the tech stack behind supporting this custom piece. Certain custom pieces isn't your normal server or your web server setup. It might have special configurations. And then, of course, support, like for typical sites, okay, support's pretty standard. But now you're going to custom. Now, do you have the documentation? Does the support team have all the information they need to support this custom piece? And what if something goes wrong? Do they know where to go to look for that? So support is a little more complex. So there's all of these areas that are affected when it comes to a custom site. And then tip number 5, just do a 1.5 multiplier. I know it's just like, where did you come with that number? Unfortunately, it's pretty like arbitrary, because like, here's the thing. Most people, they tend to underestimate complex work. Right? And that's the thing. Adding that just zero point 0.5, the 1.5, adding that 1.5 multiplier to that will help work out any kinks, which there will be, especially when it's a project that's a lot more complex and you don't have as much experience. I don't mean to do a 1.5 multiplier on everything. And I don't mean to add the multiplier on things that you are very familiar with, you have a lot of experience in. Even though it's custom, you already have the data behind it. So there's no need to charge more for that or to accommodate more time for that. It's only pieces that you're just not familiar with. This is the first time, or the client is asking you, like, this is something brand new, and we want to give it a shot. So what all that said, for example, let's say the developer estimates 5 hours, just do a 1.5 multiplier. And so it's not, oh, sorry, not 5 hours, that totally typo there. Instead, it should be 10 hours. Let's say it's 10 hours, multiply by 1.5, and there'll be 15 hours to complete. Now, let me give you a bonus tip. Offer phases, create the MVP. So for example, the phase of that e-commerce site, but now they want an affiliate program. Well, phase 1, standard site with an e-commerce store, but no client dashboard. Phase 2, e-commerce store with client dashboard. And then phase 3, affiliate program. MVP, minimal viable product. Phase 1 would be that minimal viable product, right? But that's, of course, something that you want to talk to your client about, making sure that that is truly their MVP, and to break it out into phases. Because what's going to happen is they're going to start in phase 1 and things may change. Like, oh, you know what? Let's do some additional modifications based on feedback from customers and from other decision makers. And phase 2 may be updated. So if you try to, quote, this monster of a project, in reality, it never takes off because it's so complicated, well, then no one wins. But at least start off with phase 1 and the MVP piece. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has been, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'll continue to produce more content to help agencies. And if there's anything you want to add, anything I missed, please feel free to comment below. And then also feel free to ask any questions. I'll do my best to respond. All right, take care. See ya.